James was the kind of man who believed in the little things. A kind word to a stranger, holding a door open, or buying a coffee for someone in need, these small acts of kindness gave his otherwise mundane life meaning. But lately, life hadn't been kind to him. Bills were piling up, his freelance gigs had dried up, and his bank account balance was so low it hurt to look at. One cold December evening, James found himself walking home from yet another unsuccessful job interview. He clenched the last $5 bill he had in his pocket, debating whether to spend it on a loaf of bread or a bus ticket for the week ahead. The biting wind nipped at his face, a cruel reminder of the thin coat he wore. As he passed a dimly lit alleyway, he saw her, a frail woman huddled on a piece of cardboard. Her face was lined with sorrow, her hands trembling as she held a battered sign, hungry and cold. "Anything helps." James hesitated. He barely had enough for himself. But then their eyes met. In her weary gaze, he saw a deep, unspoken plea. It wasn't just hunger she suffered from, it was the kind of loneliness and despair that eats away at your soul. Without a second thought, James reached into his pocket and pulled out his last $5. "Here," he said softly, kneeling to hand her the bill. "Get yourself something warm to eat." Her hands shook as she took it. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice cracking. "You have no idea what this means to me." James walked away with an empty pocket but a heart that felt strangely full. The next morning, James woke to the sound of persistent knocking at his door. Groggy and confused, he shuffled to answer it. Standing there was a delivery man holding a large, intricately wrapped package. "Are you James Parker?" the man asked. "Yes." "This is for you," the man said, handing over the package and disappearing down the hallway before James could ask any questions. Puzzled, James brought the package inside and carefully opened it. Inside was an envelope and a brand new laptop. He opened the envelope, his hands trembling. The note inside read, "Dear James. You don't know me, but yesterday you helped someone very dear to me, my mother. She was at her lowest point, and your small act of kindness reminded her that there is still good in the world. I've been looking for her for months, and thanks to your $5, she was able to call me from a diner where she bought a hot meal. I run a tech company, and I've been searching for someone with your skills. The laptop is yours, along with a job offer if you're willing. I hope this can be the start of something better for you. With gratitude. Michael Reed ***. James sank into his chair, overwhelmed. He thought back to that cold night and the fleeting moment when he'd given away the only money he had. He never could have imagined that such a simple act of compassion would come full circle in a way that would change his life. A week later, James began his new job at Michael's company. But it wasn't just the job or the laptop that stayed with him. It was the profound reminder that kindness, no matter how small, always finds its way back. The next time he passed a homeless man on the street, James didn't hesitate. He stopped, offered a warm smile, and asked, "How can I help?" And in that moment, he understood, the world changes one act of kindness at a time.